Check. Check, check.
Test, test, test. Okay.
Test. Test.
I think we need to raise you a little bit more on OBS. Say something.
All right. How's this sound?
Okay, that's better. Let me raise it a little bit more. Go.
All right. How about this?
Okay, that's perfect. Our levels are pretty much the same.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm transitioning. We're off mute. Okay. I mean, what are we? I guess we just talk about Pokemon, right? That's like the thing that's.
That's yeah. I mean,
I mean,
Pokemon's pretty big news.
I guess we got other new. We got like other stuff. I got other stuff we can talk about as well. But I mean, I don't know.
What did you have in mind?
Just random stuff from the week. It's nothing like important or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But okay, let me just make sure the stream is good. I ran an ad for you guys beforehand just in case, so we just not have pre-rolls for the first 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. Cool. All right, I guess we should just start recording since we're starting a little bit later. So,
Okay.
get this. Okay, starting the recording in 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome back to No Content. Hope everyone's doing well this week. Pixel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. I feel like we've done this podcast for so long. I don't know why it feels like that, but I think, let's see. I think if I recall, the last episode was number, oh man, I don't even know. 34. So we're on number 35. This is number 35. We need to get someone back on this podcast, by the way, because we said we were going to try to get people back on like every like 10 episodes, and it's been way longer than 10. It's been actually, I think this episode is going to be the 10th episode that we had someone on. Because the last time we had someone on was, oh, maybe it was longer than that. Holy crap. The last time we had someone on was episode 21.
That has been a long time ago.
Yeah, I think so. So I should try to contact some people and start like pulling people for like if they want to come on or something like that.
Yeah, totally. Like anybody.
Yeah, once again, that's not an open invite, so please don't tweet me or DM me or mess with Pixel in any way because we're choosing the people. Just want to throw that out. I have to say that like every time because it seems like people think that's like an open invite for some reason.
Yeah, right.
So I mean. So, there's a lot of stuff that happened. I think in the past week. I don't see. My numbers are all messed. My numbers are all like messed up and stuff like that. But I don't think we talked about it. But I guess we can briefly talk about it. I got into the Hearthstone Battlegrounds thing.
Oh, nice.
The auto chess thing. I played that a bit. I actually really enjoy it. I think that it's pretty. I think. For the most part, it's pretty fun, and it's something that I can kind of just jump into if I want to play Hearthstone type of games, but not have to really worry about a card collection. I don't know on its longevity, though, but it definitely feels like Hearthstone-y to me.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends have come back to it and are surprisingly like playing it casually because they're like, it seems more relaxed. Like, I think one of the things that like we talked about the last podcast was like how in Hearthstone it's either you win or you lose. And in this one, it's I think that the thing that people like about auto battlers is that besides the fact that if you get top 4 you win, and if you get top 5 or bottom 5 you lose or whatever, or bottom 8 I guess you lose. I think people like the game because you can kind of set up your own goals in the game, like within the game itself. So there was a couple of games where I thought I was going to lose and get wrecked, and I knew that I wasn't probably going to win the game, but then I can at least aim for like 5th place or 6th place, right? And you can kind of like mitigate like how much rank you're going to lose. So the wins aren't as crushing, which I think is interesting. Whereas like with other Hearthstone games, it's like a 1-for-1.
Right.
So I think that's why people like auto battlers. It's like, okay, I'm not going to win this, but I'm going to aim for 5th place, and that's technically a win for me because I'm not going to lose as much SR. So I think people like it. Dude, people been grinding. Actually, I'm really surprised. I don't know. Have you been watching it on Twitch or like been looking at the Twitch numbers for it or anything like that?
I haven't really checked the Twitch numbers at all for it. Like, but I do know that people have been grinding this game for hours on end.
Yeah.
Like, actually longer than Hearthstone like standard.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised, to be honest. I didn't think that the game would be as popular as it is. Maybe we just shouldn't count. I guess we should never count like a game like Hearthstone out or whatever. but it's
Mhm.
really surprising to me. Like it's like I thought it would be a mode like people would get into for a bit, but it seems like people are like consistently like playing the mode. And it could be, it could be because, we're in a lull, like
Mhm.
of like waiting for the next expansion. So like the meta's already kind of figured out and people are just kind of chilling. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it
Yeah.
also has to do with like as of right now, like a lot of people aren't playing TFT or whatever because I guess because ranked isn't out for like another week and a half. But
Mm.
I mean, overall, like I'm just still surprised it's doing so well.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised too. Like it kind of reinvigorated the Hearthstone game, like just in general. I was really surprised by this. People who were kind of burnt out with Hearthstone just came back and are loving it again.
Yeah. Like Kripparrian hasn't dropped below I think 20K views since coming back since just playing Battlegrounds, and usually like his streams were like at like 10K or something or 8K.
Hmm.
So like it seems like everybody's numbers are just up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like Dog came back to it, which he hasn't played Hearthstone in a while. I don't know. It's just weird to see. Like, like I don't know. I don't know what it is about the game that maybe it just dropped at a really good time. I guess,
probably.
but
Yeah. And
um,
also, it's
yeah.
just like it's so fresh and new, but it's also still familiar to everybody. Like we all know the cards, and we all know
Mm-hmm.
how things interact. And this is just a new game mode essentially, and it's really cool. It's easy for people to get into because so many people are familiar with Hearthstone already.
Yeah. So they did release like a dev blog for it just really quickly, and I just thought it was interesting. They nerfed some cards today, but they also announced that they are going to be making, I guess, like Mama Bear and a couple of the other cards that are in the game mode right now are exclusive to Battlegrounds. And they do plan on releasing, I guess, what they say are
Hmm,
like mini sets with exclusive cards just to Battlegrounds, which I think is interesting,
that's cool.
as well as like cards from the existing pool of cards, which is kind of neat to make different interactions. They also said that there's going to be changes to like just the UI and stuff like that, which is coming pretty soon. So I don't know. I'm just really surprised. I think honestly, it just came out at a really good time. Maybe
Hmm.
um, it could be the exclusivity of it. It does go into like open beta tomorrow. So for any of you guys who didn't get a BlizzCon ticket or pre-order the next expansion for Hearthstone, it's free to play starting tomorrow. All you need to do is download the game on BattleNet, and there is no entry fees for this mode, so you can just play. So keep that in
Awesome.
mind as tomorrow that's an open beta. But I think it has to do with that it's new. And I think also it's just like I don't know what's up with TFT, but it hasn't been doing too well. Um, I don't know. Do you have any insight on that, Pixel, of maybe why it isn't there? Do you think people are just kind of going the same route that we kind of initially went with it? Because I still like it, but it's
Hmm.
like a lot. Like the game is usually at like a pretty low rating of players. Like right now, it's currently on Twitch. I mean, it's kind of hard because Hearthstone's up there or whatever. But I mean, if we take
Right.
into account even like Hearthstone right now, which has like a ton of views, like the game currently has 11.7K viewers on Twitch.
Hmm.
Beating it are games like Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Escape from Tarkov, Dota 2, Apex Legends, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Like all these games are kind of beating it, and it's in like the top 20 games, like barely in the top 20
Yeah.
right now. Like in they just had a new expansion release the day after Hearthstone Battlegrounds came out. They had a new set release. So what
Hmm.
do you think like is the reason for like TFT just
Um, well, I think that Twitch, I think, is still a bad indicator of what game is popular or not.
for
Like as
sure?
far as play number of players,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it just goes back to the game TFT just not being that great to watch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of confusion, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things you have to keep in mind. You have to be a really, really active viewer to be able to
Mm-hmm.
understand what's going on with the board state. But Hearthstone has this benefit that it's much easier to just figure out what's going on. You kind of can
True.
understand like the interactions between cards, just the effects that are on board at any given time. So
Mm-hmm.
Battlegrounds by itself is actually pretty easy to understand once you understand the cards. You can just kind of pick it up and it makes a better viewing experience, I think.
Mm.
um, Kind of like when you're playing Hearthstone Standard, you get a little bit more interaction with the audience. You get a little bit more. of straightforward gameplay. So it makes for a better viewing experience, and I think that's probably why
Yeah.
it's more popular right now.
Yeah.
But I do know that TFT has a very, very strong core audience. Like
Yeah.
the people that love TFT really love it,
I
and they
feel
are
like that's with
super
all.
excited.
I feel like that's with all auto battlers though. Like I feel like there's probably a strong community in like Dota Underlords, right? Can we assume that?
Really?
I don't know. Could we
Yeah.
assume that probably?
Yeah, I haven't met one, but I'm sure they exist.
Yeah. Um, one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that, and it kind of flew under the radar for everyone, but like the original auto chess, like they made a mobile app and then they went exclusively to Epic Game Stores. They came from a Dota
Mhm.
mod and stuff. They just had, I think, a $2 million world championship in China,
Wow.
and their viewership peaked at 2.1 million viewers. Uh,
What?
100,000 viewers less than the League of Legends World Championship.
That is
So,
bonkers.
and apparently that game's just like hella popular in China and Asia, in Russia and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so, like, I think we tend to forget like some of these games are huge. Like, there was a mobile game. There's like a mobile battle royale game that's in China. Apparently, the finals got like 1 million views
It's
or
ridiculous.
something, and it's just like you never hear about it. It's weird, dude.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I haven't heard a thing from Auto Chess, like the actual original Auto Chess,
Yeah,
ever since it came out.
but apparently they're like it's super popular on like these Chinese streaming sites.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's like, wow. Okay.
but I don't know what it is with like TFT, but it seems like it's just kind of not die. I guess dying would be a bad way of putting it or whatever. But I don't know. Something about it. I think you're probably right. It's just hard to understand. It's like hard to watch and stuff like that. So it's just like I don't know. It's very weird to think
Yeah.
about. But yeah, the game mode is super popular. Or Hearthstone one is, and I'm just very taken back by that.
Mhm.
My worry and concern with it is that at the end of the day, um, you know, it is a complementary mode in my opinion to what Hearthstone is all about, which is trying to get you to buy packs. So their baby
Mhm.
is kind of standard or even not, it's kind of like there's a chain here, right? There's a pecking order for sure. It's definitely standard, then maybe I would say Battlegrounds now, maybe, right? And then
Mhm.
because it's new, and then it's a toss up, honestly. It's probably Arena, which is like probably there, and then Wild if I had to put it, if I had to put everything into like kind of a mesh.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
Tavern Brawl
totally.
is just like kind of there. So the thing is, it's like, for me, it's just like, you know, unless certain social, like, I don't, I don't know where this game's gonna be in even a couple of months. Not being able to play with more than one friend, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, and doing all this type of stuff. Like, I really want to see like where this goes. Even just the ranking system kind of has its own flaws in my opinion. I like how in TFT it's like if you're in Challenger. If you're in the top 200, the only people you can get placed with are other top 200 players. If you're in Grandmaster, you can only be placed with top 500 players. TFT doesn't really have that. Or sorry, Hearthstone Battlegrounds doesn't really have that. It just has a number. Um,
Mhm.
and I was watching some people play, and I saw like Kriparian play a bit, and I think he won a game, and he only got like 3 points or 3 LP, and then the next game he got second and lost like 10 LP. And it has to do with the matchmaking system where if it can't find people around your rank, it will just rank you with other players, and if they're low enough like MMR and you
Mhm.
lose to them, the game thinks like, oh well, you deserve to be with them more, so it will actually dock you points. So it's gotten to this point where like it's actually risky to just play on your main account for some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually really, really insane that, like, you're so far ahead of the pack that, like, unless you get first, you're going to get knocked down.
Yeah, and even if you get first, like the amount that you're gonna gain is like so insignificant compared to like
Right.
everyone else or whatever.
Man, that's crazy.
So
But yeah,
I don't
I don't
know.
know how where this is gonna go in the next few months because we saw like the beginning of TFT, like it was huge, absolutely huge for like the first couple months, and then it's kind of petered out. So I feel like maybe Battlegrounds might do the same thing.
Yeah, it might. It's going to be hard to tell, though, in my opinion, because Hearthstone has decided to lump it into the same category as Hearthstone on Twitch. which I think is
Mm,
pretty smart for them as well, at least from like a viewing standpoint. Like we'll never really know how the numbers are for either of these games. Even TFT, I don't know how popular it is, right? But
sure.
you know, with League, they split it off from that. You know, they made a league. On Twitch, there's League of Legends, and then there's TFT. So we have kind of numeric differences in numbers. But with Hearthstone Battlegrounds, I don't know if we'll ever be able to tell how popular the game mode is.
Yeah, I think
Truly,
only Blizzard will know.
because you know what I honestly think that what's going to happen is, and I think it's probably really smart, is I think, like, for example, the new set comes out next month, so we'll see a lot of people playing standard and stuff like that. Maybe the standard mode gets figured out or whatever, and then people are just going to go, I'm going to go to Battlegrounds, you know, play some Battlegrounds or split their time half Battlegrounds, half standard, but it's all going to be in the Hearthstone section still. So it will be interesting to see, you know, what happens to the mode, even just from like a competitive standpoint. Um, you know,
Right.
I, I feel like auto brawlers in general, while they're fun, I think that this is why you don't chase trends sometimes, because no auto brawler has really been, I would say, super successful in my opinion. You know, Dota Auto Chess was kind of niche even when it came out. Underlords came out, it was pretty niche, and then TFT came
Mhm.
out, it exploded, and now it's kind of niche as well. I think this is why you don't just chase trends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's kind of hard too because I don't actually know the numbers of like how much money the TFT is making because I
Mm-hmm.
can I can bet that they're making a lot of money off those skins
Mm-hmm.
because those little legends are what were a stroke of genius. To be
Yeah,
honest, they're completely useless character, but like it's only there for aesthetics.
yeah, and I think now they even have like boards you can buy, like
Right,
different
right.
maps for your like little zone area and stuff. So, I think one of the interesting things that we'll have to see is that they said that, or Riot said that within the next month they're gonna show their roadmap for the TFT pro scene.
Hmm.
So they're gonna have some type of pro scene. I don't know how that would work. It will be really interesting to kind of see what that model is, though, because League of Legends, I feel like, has a pretty good model. You know, weekly tournaments with all the regions. Then, you know, every
Hmm.
like 2 to 3 months, there's like a, you know, overseas tournament that kind of brings all the best players together, and then it kind of all culminates with all these points to like a world championship at the end of the year.
Right,
So
right.
it will be kind of interesting, like how TFT is going to do that, especially with just the nature of how the game is with like RNG, it being 8 players as well, like and them doing like a pro scene. Like, how is this going to really work out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really interesting to see. Like I don't know if there's any other like guideline they can go by, just like creating like an auto battler esports scene. Like so they have to
Hmm.
really pave the way.
Yeah.
And so this will be really interesting to see.
Yeah, like, is this going to be kind of like Hearthstone where it's kind of half and half? There's like the Grand Masters who are always duking it out, but then if you're an amateur and want to come up, you go, you
Mhm.
know, you can win and then take on a Grandmaster who's relegated and get into the Grandmaster scene. Is it going to be something where it's quote unquote franchised, where it's like you know, only pro player, you know, you just got to do really good at the solo queue, and then if you get, you know, you get picked up by a team and it's franchised, it'll be really interesting to see where that goes
Oh
for
yeah.
TFT, especially with its numbers and stuff like that. I don't really see you don't really see you kind of see the same people streaming it now, right?
Mhm.
You don't really hear of like any like up and comers, and even the people who are consistently streaming, like I don't think there's a lot of them compared to like Hearthstone. There's a lot of like content creators and pro players or ex pro players, whatever you want to call them, like playing the game
Mhm.
all the time.
Yeah.
So
There's really only like a handful of streamers that I can think of that really bring in the numbers for TFT. Like I would say they command like 90% of the views.
yeah,
So
and having like a
yeah.
top heavy game is like pretty bad. I think Hearthstone's in a good spot right now where you just kind of have like a lot, like you do have like those giant streams still, but then you have like a
Mhm.
sprinkling of like those like mid-range to like decent sized streamers as well that are like still trickling in, which is probably like a good thing for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But
So yeah, I think Hearthstone has a better ecosystem right now, just because like it's just a lot more players, a lot more people familiar with it, and it's just I don't know. I think it's a little bit better positioning right now
mhm,
as far as
mhm.
auto battlers go.
For sure, for sure. But I guess moving on from that and just into real life stuff, I have a wedding to go to this weekend.
Oh,
And
fun.
so I think you know I guess I got a IRL level up or whatever. I don't want to give away too much of the wedding and stuff like that, obviously because of the, you know, it's a friend of mine in real life or whatever. But
Hmm.
I haven't been to a wedding in a while, to be honest. Um, Yeah, probably a good like 4 years. I guess I'm just at the age where everyone's starting to get married, right?
Yeah, no, same thing. No, actually, you know what? For me, like the age of people getting married has already
Mhm.
passed, and people are already having kids.
Right.
So I've missed that boat.
Right. So I mean, I
But
don't know. Weddings are cool. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be fun. Like all my friends are gonna be there. We all have a big table together, so it should be cool. The wedding sounds
yeah.
like incredibly lit. I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna have to go sub VOD only. But like one of my friends wants me to live stream the wedding because he won't be able to make it. So we might live stream the wedding, guys. But I think it'll be in sub only mode, like sub VOD or sub
Oh,
subscriber only
dude,
audience or whatever. I think we're gonna have
I'm
to do
there.
that for that. So subscribe to my channel, twitch.tv/Ryan Kubo. If you haven't already, you should be anyway, because we run ads on this thing and you don't get to see ads, and it helps me a lot. But yeah, I mean, it will be fun. It's this coming Saturday. Um, so I don't know, which kind of brings us to our next topic, which because it's this Saturday, Pokemon Sword and Shield come out this week as well, and I'm kind of pissed that I
Mhm.
have a wedding to go to. I'm just kidding, but
Just bring the
I
Switch, man.
actually am debating bringing the Switch, and the guy whose wedding it is said it was cool if I bring the Switch. He just wants everyone to be happy. He really does not care, which is cool. But dude, Pokemon Sword and Shield is coming out. If you guys don't know, a little background about myself, I've pretty much been obsessively playing the game since it first came out in '96. It was really my first portable game that I ever got when I was 6 years old as well. So there's a lot of nostalgia and a lot of hype for me personally about it. And when everyone around me, in my neighborhood and at school stopped playing it, I kind of still kept playing it, and then it kind of resurged in high school for me, at least with like Diamond and Pearl for some reason.
Mhm.
And then since then it's kind of still been a niche thing. But for anyone who doesn't know, I was pretty active in the competitive scene when it came to the actual game. Like I entered tournaments and stuff like that, in like top
Oh,
32 and stuff like that back in the day. I was
nice.
on a Pokemon podcast way long ago for like a couple of episodes, and kind of knew the
Mhm.
creators of some stuff. So I've been, and so right now what I do is I just breed and trade Pokemon, to be able to help other people out. So like I'm pretty invested in the game, at least from like a meta competitive standpoint, less about a story perspective. So I'm pretty into it. Pixel, what is your history with like I just Pokemon in general, so we can kind of like get our caps on of information ready.
I mean, I'm just like you. I started back in '96, like with Pokemon Blue. Like I think the anime was what really got me into it, and then I
True.
got the game. But I started with that. Like I loved it. Like I must have put like probably 80 to 100 hours into that Game Boy game. It's an incredible amount of time for a Game Boy game. Um,
Yeah.
and I was so deeply involved in like I love the lore and everything that I actually bought the Japanese versions of Pokemon Gold Silver, and I bought a Japanese English dictionary to go along
Oh
with it.
man, my 12-year-old, like 9-year-old self would have been so jealous at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually bought the cartridges off eBay and had them like
Wow,
mail it here
that's
from
crazy.
Japan, and I was like just sitting there translating everything that was coming up on screen. Like I can kind of barely understand what things are saying
That's
because it was
awesome.
great. It's a kids game, so like everything was really really
Oh,
simple.
true. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
all the sentences just straightforward, just like
Right,
4 or 5 words. Like oh, I get this. There's no like crazy grammar going on here. Like I
right.
get this.
Huh. That's actually
So it
that's actually
was
pretty cool.
yeah, so it was great. It took a long time to like translate the characters, but like I got pretty quick with it pretty fast.
Right, right, for sure.
But
Um,
yeah, like I've
yeah.
been playing like Pokemon games here and there, but I've never been able to finish one ever since like Red Blue.
Oh wow. So do you think this is the game you're gonna complete
I
eventually,
don't know. We'll
or?
see. Yeah, we'll see. Like I get to the point where it depends on the gameplay because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the games I found like it's a lot of grinding to get to like the Elite Four,
Okay.
and so like I want to just like be able to find a Pokemon game that feels less grindy. It feels more
Right.
like an RPG that has a
Right.
lot more story elements.
Right. So I guess like I'm kind of more in the other boat. Like I'm more of like I don't really care about the story. I just want to like get the good Pokemon. I look at stats and treat them like it's fantasy football almost. And you're kind of like on the other end, which is probably a healthier end, which is like you just want to. It's a game. You just want to enjoy it. You want to enjoy the ride there. Like once you beat the Elite Four, like who knows if you'll continue playing.
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I think we both kind of bring something unique to the game insight. And so I just kind of wanted to just talk about the game and just kind of like, go over some of the features with the game, if that's cool with everybody, and then just kind
Yeah.
of discuss it or whatever.
Let's do
Um,
it.
so first off, the new region, the what is it, Galgar region or whatever? I don't know. I'm gonna butcher. Here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna butcher every name. It takes me like 30 years to learn names with Pokemon. It's based off of Europe, which I think is really really cool. It's actually based on the European countryside this time around. So if you guys didn't know, every Pokemon game has been based off of a region. I think the first 4 to 5 generations have all been based off of regions in Japan.
Oh, huh.
And you can see this in like Pokemon Black and White, or X and Y, I think was based on like Tokyo and stuff like that. They had like a big tower, like Tokyo Tower and stuff like that. Ever
Mhm.
since then, it's been based off of actually regions outside of Japan. I believe that we had with the last one, Sun and Moon, it was based off Hawaii and stuff like that. There's a bunch of
Right,
islands
right.
and stuff like that as well. This region is actually based off of the countryside of Europe, or of like the countryside
Oh.
of the UK. So that's kind of where we're
Mhm.
coming to with this one as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. I guess we can just kind of break down some of the mechanics and stuff with the game too. It seems like a pretty generic Pokemon game in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um, just seems like you get a starter, you go around, get 8 badges, you beat the game, hooray! And then I guess it's we should probably go over this now. We're going to be talking about some leaks that have been around on the internet that are pretty publicly available to find. So I'm going to give you guys like 10 seconds to just ignore this or whatever. And then hopefully you RNG it and don't listen to the rest of the podcast if you don't want spoilers. We're not giving away story spoilers, but we are giving away, I guess, like informational spoilers of like what's in the game. So let me just wait a sec here.
Do, 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 do,
Okay, let's
do.
talk about it.
Alright,
So
cool.
first off, I guess we should talk about is this is something pretty controversial, and it's actually pretty controversial to me as well. But it's been confirmed that not all the Pokemon will be in the game.
Yeah.
Usually, if you guys, and I'm just kind of giving this information to Pixel because I don't know how much he knows about the previous Pokemon games, because I know that he says he hasn't played in a while. But in the previous Pokemon games, what they did was they would have the regions Pokedex. So just the regions Pokedex for Sword and Shield, and then after you beat the game, a national dex would open up where then Pokemon from all the other previous generations would be able to be caught. They've
Mm.
changed that now. There is no national dex. There's just a regional dex, and it's like these are Pokemon that will show up in this region. So because of that, about 500 of the Pokemon that are in the game itself or in the Pokemon universe itself are cut from this game. They will not be making an appearance at any point. From what Game Freak and Nintendo has said, there will not be an update to the game to add more Pokemon. They said maybe if a new version of the game comes out, which let's be real, there will be. There's always that third version that enhances stuff. Then they will come out with more stuff. They said the reason why is because of space limitations to the Pokemon sprites, as well as balancing for the competitive scene. So I think right now it's confirmed that there's about 430 Pokemon in the game. I don't know, Pixel,
Mm.
how do you feel about that personally?
Uh, I can kinda understand the sentiment behind including every single Pokemon
Hmm.
in the universe. Like, how many are we up to? Like 800 something now or
We're up to like
around there?
900 or something. It's really weird because we had all of them last generation. So this is why it's so controversial, is because it's like, well, it's the Switch. It has more
Mhm.
memory storage than the 3DS. Like, what's
Right.
the issue, right? But yeah,
Yeah, I
about
mean,
900.
yeah, I saw, like, there's gonna be an increase in, like, fidelity and character models,
Hmm.
so it's gonna be an increase. I feel like the 3DS, like, we can get away with it because, like, it was just low res, but with the Switch, it's much higher res.
Yeah, especially since it's
So
gonna be a console. It's technically a console game. You can dock it. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I think it's just a lot more work
Hmm.
to get all of them in the game. Like, sure, you can have like some Pokemon be like kind of duplicates with the same move sets as another one, but
Hmm.
I think a lot of it comes down to the amount of work required to actually port all of that to the Switch.
Yeah.
Create like animations for it, things like that. Someone said, "Okay, this is going to take way too long. Let's just
Yeah.
not do it." I
So
think it was really just, yeah, it's the money and time based decision. While it really sucks,
Yeah.
I can kind of understand it, and hopefully they'll probably add it in later.
Ugh,
I don't think
I hope so, man. It's really disappointing
yeah.
for me, especially as someone who needs to get everything again. I used to have all of them, and then I can't find the cart, unfortunately. But I'm gonna be
Mhm.
regrinding stuff. So for me, it's like a double. Like for me, it's like a double-edged sword. Like I'm kind of glad because I'm like, okay, I don't need to get 900 Pokemon. In theory, they did say that you will be able to capture and evolve all 400 or 500, however many there are at the end of the day, Pokemon within both
Mhm.
games, Sword and Shield, which is super nice, in my
Mhm.
opinion. Uh, you know, back in the day, like even with Sun and Moon, yeah, all 900 Pokemon were in the game, but you had to have had played previous games and transferred them over to it. So I feel like
Mhm.
with this, it's also kind of a hard reset that they're trying to do. They're like, no, if you really want to try, you will be able to get all the Pokemon from both in Sword and Shield
Yeah.
into one game, which is kind of nice for me personally
Right.
because then I won't have to worry about it. It just kind of brings into questioning, I guess, future Pokemon games, which probably isn't something we should worry
Yeah.
about. But so for me, it's a double-edged sword. I would love all of
Yeah.
them, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, this is nice. Like I don't have to grind as much.
Right. Here's something I just realized, like, they're kinda shooting themselves in the foot by adding more and more Pokemon every single game. So
Hmm.
eventually, you're gonna get to the point where they have, like, 2,000 Pokemon, and they have to support all of them.
Yeah,
And for any company that sees, like, further ahead, that's crazy, like, you can't do that. So at
yeah.
some point, they have to cap it, and they have to do something and say, like, "Hey, okay, you know what? From this point on, we're only gonna have, like, a select number of
I
Pokemon."
mean, I think that's what they're
Because
doing
yeah.
with starting with this game, to be honest. I think like if the next game comes out, they might,
Mhm.
they might just be like, okay, now these Pokemon are available in here, but maybe the ones that were in the Sword and Shield aren't anymore for whatever. You know what I mean? Because,
Right.
literally what they're saying is like lore wise, quote unquote, is what they're kind of backing it off of is like, just certain Pokemon can't live in these environments. Right, because this is
Yeah.
like a totally
Yeah.
different region from like Japan, right? Because it's based on Europe and stuff like that. So
And it totally makes
it
sense.
makes sense. I'm just kind of a little upset about it, like for sure. It kind of sucks for me, but like I said, double-edged sword. At the same
Yeah.
time, I'm kind of happy
Yeah.
because I don't have to
And,
capture everything again.
you know, does this actually open up the possibility of having DLC? Like, will Nintendo ever say, like, "Hey, we're gonna update the Pokédex by, like, 100 Pokemon and then
Maybe
add a set?"
like
Like,
the
kind of like an
the
expansion set.
Kanto set or the Johto set. I mean, maybe it could for sure. I
Yeah.
think that could be a possibility. It's so weird because this is going to be the first time that we have a Pokemon game that is on an actual Nintendo console that is trying to
Mhm.
be pushed, right? Like the 3DS was always this portable console. Their online sucked. I mean, the console you know online for Nintendo sucks anyway, but I mean this is their priority is they've invested everything into a Switch. They literally
Sure.
combined their console and portable and merged into one. So it definitely will be interesting to see, what they do. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the first game, in my opinion, where I've kind of always had internet on a Pokemon game. Like, yes, I had it right before with like the other 3DS games, but this is different. This is like a home console that has internet that I can voice chat with
Right.
people, that I can
Yeah.
trade
Yeah.
Pokemon with. Which, by the way, we need to get opposite games so we can trade. But so that will be nice. So we can trade each other those, or you can go capture them. Apparently, none of the Pokemon are hard to find, like of the rarities. We're also gonna have to trade legendaries really quick, just so we can trade and
Mhm.
trade back, so I can get the
Yeah,
Dex
yeah.
entry.
Okay.
So for that as well. So, but I mean, it'll be really really interesting to see. I don't know. That I guess that's the first complaint with the game. I guess
Yeah.
some other issues that we've talked about that have been kind of leaked and stuff as well. It's been confirmed about, and I don't know how many moves there are in the game, but about 77 moves from the game are gone. Like
Oh, so how many are left?
actually attack moves and defensive moves. Like defense curl's gone, rock throw's gone. Like iconic move sets are kind of like just
Wow.
gone from the game. The Pokemon just can't learn it anymore. So I
Mhm.
wonder how that's going to work with. If you guys didn't know, there's going to be a thing called Pokemon Home coming out in just late December, early 2020, where you'll be able to transfer Pokemon from your old Pokemon games, from Pokemon Go, and from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee to a cloud-based system onto your
Mhm.
Nintendo Switch and use them there. So that'll be interesting as well. I don't really
Mhm.
know how that's going to work.
Yeah, I don't know either. It sounds like, they'll probably just, like, remove that move set
Yeah.
from the Pokemon, and then you'll have to use, like, a TM or something like
or
that to
or maybe it
replace.
will be like maybe it will be an incentive to use it because it's like, oh, I have a Pokemon that has this move that's technically doesn't exist in the region. It's rare now,
Yeah, maybe.
to
Yeah.
leverage trades or something like that. Um, Overall, though, the game does seem to be kind of the same. I guess I would say I'm not expecting in me for me personally. Pixel probably feels different about this, but for me personally, I've never really cared about the story of a Pokemon game. They always add little things here and there. I feel like, especially with this version of the game, I feel like they didn't really care about the story. It seems like we have some type of group that's already been leaked called Team Yell. I don't understand why that's the name of the group, but they're kind of like Team Rocket, who are trying to do
Hmm.
some nefarious things in the region. It seems like you still go around and get 8 badges, and then you beat the Elite Four. They
Yep.
have confirmed that there is also like a couple stories after you beat the Elite Four, which is kind of interesting. So there is stuff to do
Hmm.
afterwards. But I mean, the story seems to be like pretty generic in my opinion. It seems like just a typical Pokemon story. I mean, I don't know. Do you care about that, Pixel, or is it kind of expected? Or
For me, like I'm coming from like a traditional sort of American RPG style experience where like story is king.
mm,
Like you have to have like character arc development, interesting characters and archetypes and stuff like that. So whenever I play a Pokemon game, I'm really hoping for that. And I
right?
know that they won't have it
Yeah.
because they haven't changed in the last 20
I mean,
years.
to be fair, like Zelda games don't really change in my opinion, or Super Mario games. Like I feel like they do change, but just the mechanics.
Yeah, yeah. The mechanics, I think at the very core of it, I think Zelda is fun.
Hmm.
So Pokemon, I feel like it's getting a little bit long in the tooth.
Mm,
For people that are like really, really into like JRPGs and things like that, the whole the turn-based combat stuff, like it's cool. But I think I need a little bit more to chew on
right.
than that, Then, you take a turn doing a move, I take a turn doing a move, you screwed up, I'm gonna use a super effective attack, you're dead, kind of thing. Like
Hmm.
I kind of need a little bit more than that. So for me, I think story is what can really drive that and just really make it
Right.
more fun for me.
It's hard too because I think for me at least, like one of the things, like like talking to my daughter about it because she's pretty hyped for it, and it's gonna suck because I'm gonna have to share the console with her, and I'm definitely gonna make excuses not to. But
Mhm.
one of the things that's really hard about I think the Pokemon franchise in general is like at the end of the day, it is technically a kids game,
Yeah.
but there's veteran players who have been playing since like 96, like myself and like you or anyone who's dabbled in a Pokemon game. They're just so synonymous. Like Pokemon is so synonymous. I mean, it just announced like what, 2 months ago, it's the highest grossing franchise of all time
Mhm.
or something like that. So it's hard because us veteran players kind of want something more in depth, but then there's also the fact that Nintendo being Nintendo, they are going to cater more towards the casual crowd, the little kid crowd.
Mhm.
You know what I mean, and make the games very simplistic or whatever. Um,
I I think we don't give kids enough credit. I think they can understand a
I
lot more
yeah, I
than
do. I think so too, for sure. No, I think so for sure too, and I think that it just sucks.
yeah. Yeah, no,
um,
no, you're true, you're right.
yeah, it's stupid. I remember getting like I remember playing Pokemon Red and like not knowing where to go. Like the game didn't really tell you to go where to go, right?
Mhm.
And I've been playing Pokemon Fire Red on stream and kind of replaying it or whatever. And there's like that point where after you beat the third gym, Lieutenant Surge, the Thunder gym, you have the move Cut, and what you're supposed to do is actually backtrack and go all the way back up to the second gym, Misty's gym, and cut a tree to the right of the city, and that's how you keep
Mhm.
continue to advance. And then you go through there, battle a bunch of trainers. You go down, you go through a cave called the Rock Tunnel, and then you get to Lavender Town. Right? The game
Mhm.
doesn't tell you any of that.
Right,
And I just
yeah.
remember being a kid and just being like, "Where the heck do I have to go?" You know what I mean? Like I have no idea. And then you get to Lavender Town expecting there's a gym. No gym. You have to go to Cerulean City, or you have to go to you have to go to Cerulean, like the other the other place, like Fuchsia City and stuff like that, which is like all the way over
Mhm.
here. And it becomes slowly more open world, and you get like back then you get lost, right? There's things that you
Yeah.
want to do, right? Or even just like last night I went to like the ghost tower and I couldn't progress because you have to get a certain item to see the ghosts. How do you get the
Mhm.
items, the ghosts? You have to go to like a town 2 towns over and beat Team Rocket, who are secretly hiding in a casino. Like it doesn't tell you any of that.
Right,
And
yeah.
so like yeah, like and I figured that out like as a 6-year-old kid. Like it wasn't that hard, but or even just like capturing Zapdos. He was down
Yeah.
below like a certain area that you had to surf into. You had to actually explore and
Mhm.
discover it. Um, so
Yeah, like,
yeah,
there are tiny little clues, like, sprinkled all throughout the game,
right,
like,
right.
when you click on a tree or something like that, like you wish you had a move that could cut through this tree and like the word cut was highlighted or something like that.
Right.
So like there were things sprinkled around, but yeah, I get you. Like back then, games
Did
they
not hold
did
your
not
hand.
handhold you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of expected you to just spend a lot of time just wandering around
Right.
and just like trying different things.
Right.
Backtracking was very much like a mechanic back in like the 90s and 80s.
Yeah, it's
Really
great.
like yeah, no, like
Forced
eventually
exploration. Yeah.
forced exploration, forcing you to remember things about the map and then going back to it. Like games don't do that nowadays. Like
Yeah.
stuff is very linear, you know, you go
Oh,
through it one
yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah. I also wanted to add, I'm about 20 hours into Death Stranding right now. I think, like, just really quickly, I'm about 20
Oh,
hours into
okay.
Death Stranding, and I really enjoy the game. But I think that, like, I was telling a lot of people, because a lot of people are like, the game sucks, it looks boring, it's not fun. Like, a bunch of my friends have been crapping on it, but it is
Mhm.
one of those games that doesn't hold your hand. It's super difficult. And when it says you got to walk 5 miles, it feels like you have to walk 5 miles to get somewhere. You know what I mean? And it does not hold your hand. And I feel like if this game came out maybe 15 years ago, it would be probably like considered like one of the greatest games of the generation. But
Interesting.
it's definitely one of those games where it feels like Pokemon in that type of sense. That's kind of how I
Mhm.
got the linkage, where it's like it doesn't really tell you where to go. It doesn't really tell you what you need to do. And it's super
Mhm.
difficult to get to those places, and kind of has that forced exploration. I don't know, just like a little side note. I'll talk about it later when I beat the game.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess this is a great time to go into some of the controversial things that are within Pokemon Sword and Shield that we can talk about really quickly. So one of the
Okay.
things that's been confirmed is that there is an XP share in the game. For people who haven't played Pokemon in a
Mhm.
while, if you guys recall, XP share was a move that gave you about 20% extra XP when you were playing when with your other Pokemon in your party. It eventually evolved, I believe, in X and Y and like other games to be a move set where you got it pretty early on as a key item. In X and Y, I believe you get it even before the first gym, and you can choose to turn it on or off. And it would give your Pokemon like 40% of the XP, and some people didn't like that, and some people did like that. It does look like in Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's not even an item. It doesn't even exist as an item. You have it right off the start, and there's no
Mhm.
way to turn it off. And
Interesting.
the XP share seems to be somewhere between 75 and 80%. And it is always on no matter what. It even gives you XP when you catch a Pokemon. We saw this in the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee thing, and then obviously when you kill a
Mhm.
Pokemon as well. Um, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I get it. It seems a little bit handholdy to me. I wish I had the
Mhm.
option to turn it off if I chose to, but I kind of like it in the sense that once again I'm breeding Pokemon. So one of the things I like to do is collect literally every single Pokemon. So make it a lot faster to level Pokemon for sure. But it seems like
Mhm.
the game will be even faster to rush through, which I'm planning to do by the way. But it seems like it's going to
Yeah.
be very, very. I don't know. I get that you want to
Yeah.
mitigate grinding, but I don't know how to feel about it. What do you think about it, Pixel?
I mean, I actually really like the idea because I remember back in the day when I wanted to level up a Pokemon that I just caught that was like 20 levels underneath my main team. Like, I would bring it out first, immediately
Right.
recall it, and then send out another Pokemon.
Right.
Like, that was just mindless busy work. Like, I would just always have to do that. And, you
Mhm.
know, like my actual higher level Pokemon would always take a hit and things like that. So having this XP share, it makes sense. It cuts out a lot of the sort of gameplay elements that didn't really make sense or the stuff that just wasn't fun, you
Right,
know?
right.
So I'm all for things that get rid of that unfun experience. Like, so
Mhm.
you're still leveling up your Pokemon. I'm guessing you could choose whether or not like the stuff in your bank levels or not, like, or
Wait, what do you
it only
mean?
works on it only works on your active team
It
and
only
not
works in
on
your
the
active party, correct?
yeah, okay, so you can, like, choose that. You don't have to, like, have it, like, level everything up in your bank.
Right.
So, like, there is a little bit of control there, so you don't have to, like, um, necessarily have it off or anything like that. I think it's just gonna be a really, really good benefit, to be
Yeah, I
honest. I
do
think it
I
just
do
cuts out a
like
lot
it.
of
It just kind of like kind of roll my eyes like it's kind of handholdy for sure. But yeah.
Mhm,
Another benefit, another quality of life improvement that I think is great, which they've taken over from other games as well, I think, is that the Pokemon Center and Pokemart are in the same place. I think that's really good. I don't want to go to two places and load stuff for no reason.
it's it's basically Poke Walmart. I mean, like everything is
Yeah,
in one place.
exactly. It's great.
Um,
I like that.
so yeah, I like these changes. Just to, again, like other another change that just kind of like cuts away the extra time that you take just spending traveling and
Hmm.
doing these things that are basically unfun.
Right.
So instead of like going from one building to another, waiting through like a loading screen or whatever, so it just cuts it out, and yeah, everybody's happy.
Yeah. I think another thing that's kind of interesting for me as well that I saw that I noticed or whatever was that for dialogue boxes, apparently you don't have to talk to everyone in a town anymore. There are certain NPCs that you directly talk to and interact with, obviously like Pokemon Center people, Pokemart people, etc., which is kind of cool. And then
Hmm.
obviously important characters, but some of the NPCs are just kind of walking around in bubbles, will just pop above their head and they'll say something, but you don't have to
Hmm.
talk to them. I just think that's kind of cool, right? Like you don't have to
Yeah.
interact. Like that kind of brings more life to the game and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Another thing that I thought was really cool is that you no longer are contained or confined to the Pokemon Center for a lot of things. So, for example, in older Pokemon games, you would go upstairs, right? Or you would go to like the right or left of the Pokemon Center in the building
Hmm.
itself, and there would be somewhere where you could trade, where you can battle someone, etc., etc. Because the Nintendo Switch is a console and it's always online, etc., with Wi-Fi or wherever you're at, you can actually trade with people, battle with people wherever in the game. I think that's a great thing. Even access your Pokemon PC box wherever in the game. I think that's great. I like that.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Like again, these are all changes. These are quality of life improvements that just make gameplay a lot more fun
Yeah.
and easy to access. They
Hmm.
want to get you playing rather than traveling somewhere.
Right, exactly. Another thing is that because the Nintendo Switch has a friends list or whatever, I can actually, or any one of my friends lists, for say, I guess for example, Pixel can be like, "Hey, I really want to trade a Charmander," and kind of have like just like a social media post or whatever within his friends list saying he's looking for a Charmander, and then someone can
Hmm.
offer him a Charmander or
Yeah.
whatever. And then if they also are saying like I want a Bulbasaur, what will happen is we don't even have to physically do anything, which is great. So our systems can be, like one of our systems could be asleep. Your system could be asleep, and it's like, oh, Pixel needs a Charmander and he wants a Bulbasaur for it. Cool, and we can just trade.
Hmm.
And when you wake up in the morning, you'll have that trade done
Hmm.
and completed. I really like that change as well. That there's kind of like this passive like trading system within the
Hmm.
game where both parties get what they want. So basically, you say you want a Charmander, and you can specify a type or a type of Pokemon. So you just want like a fire Pokemon or whatever, or a specific Pokemon, or you can just Russian roulette it and say any type of Pokemon. So I think that's really good
Hmm.
for
Do
sure.
you think that are they going to get rid of like actual in person trading as well, like just kind
No,
of
so
like
in
that?
so the way so this is something that is kind of once again controversial as well. But if you are to trade online, you will need to have the Nintendo Online feature, the $20 a year feature to trade. But if you are in
Hmm.
person, you can just trade for free. You don't have to pay for that. So there is trading for free if you both have your consoles next to each other.
Okay,
So
cool.
you
Yeah,
can
because I
still
was
trade in person. Yeah.
yeah, because I was worried like if they only had that one feature, then I would be against it because it kind of takes away from the social aspect of
Right.
the game,
Yeah.
trading and battling and stuff like that. Like there's a certain element that trading in person gives. So if that were the only system, I would be against it. But if this is just like an addition, that's cool. I like having that.
Right. So, I mean, we're definitely going to be trading. It'll be really interesting for me. One of the things that I'm really hyped for, which we've talked about on this podcast before, is something called surprise trading. It used to be called wonder trading. But what that is that it's kind of like trading roulette. You offer up a Pokemon. You can literally offer up any Pokemon, and then it finds someone to trade with, and then it trades that Pokemon with you. And you can literally get anything. A lot of Pokemon breeders use this.
Mhm.
I use this a lot, right? I basically am trying to find like the 100% IV Pokemon, and let's say if I get anything under like 90%, I'll just trade it away using this Wonder Trade thing, and maybe get something good. That
Mhm.
feature is coming back, which I really really like, but it's going to be passive. So what that means is that you can still be playing your game and not have to worry because with Wonder Trading, it does take a really long time, or it used to in previous games, because you would have to say, okay, select the Pokemon you want to trade, searching for someone to trade with, found someone to trade with, animation to trade, you're done.
Mhm.
And I find that really interesting. It'll be really interesting for me personally because I still play Pokemon Go when we go on Pokemon Go raids. Because I'm just going to have a box of EVs or box of whatever Pokemon set for
Mhm.
wonder trading, and I'm just going to have it passively trade with other people that are there that probably have their Nintendo Switch with them.
Mhm.
So that will be really interesting for me as well.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
having to
This
trade that. So I think that's really cool. Um,
Mhm.
I guess kind of the last thing that we should talk about before we get into like our final thing with Pokemon, but I think I guess the last thing we can quickly go over is that Nintendo, every Nintendo game has a like a one more thing or like gotcha moment, right? That pulls them in. Like Super Mario Odyssey, it's the same story. You're just trying to save Princess Peach from Bowser, but you know what was the gotcha thing? It was the hat, right? You could throw this hat and do really cool things and acrobatics with it and transform and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
feel like this is the first time ever in a Pokemon game that we've had like a one more thing type of thing. And You don't see that a lot in other Pokemon games. But this
Mhm.
one more thing is this new area or new zone called the Wild Area. This is a
Hmm.
pretty huge zone that gets opened up pretty much instantly when you start your game. But apparently, the more badges you get, the bigger the area expands. This area
Hmm.
apparently is going to be about as big as 3 zones in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So it's going to be huge. It's going to be a
Wow.
huge area. And in this zone is basically going to be wild Pokemon avatars wandering around that you have to
Mhm.
actually touch to interact with. So it won't be you just run into grass and random encounters. So you'll see a Squirtle wandering around, or you'll see a Pikachu wandering around. And if you want to
Mhm.
avoid all the Pokemon, you just walk around it. But if you want to encounter that Pikachu, you can just touch it and get into an encounter with it, which I think is really, really cool.
Mhm.
The zone will be also connected to the internet. It's optional, obviously, but when it's connected to the internet, different times of the day, the Pokemon will change out. Nintendo or Game Freak has also said that there will be special events within the Wild Zone. So, for example, it's like, oh, okay, this weekend is like Mewtwo weekend or something. Like more Mewtwo's will spawn within the Wild Zone, and you can find and catch them. So I think that's pretty cool, actually, or little event
Mhm.
things like that. So the Wild Zone is in there. Apparently, it starts really small. As you get badges, it gets bigger, and more
Mhm.
Pokemon will encounter there. Side note: they did say that there is small percent chances that you can walk in the Wild Zone and you will encounter a level 50 Pokemon. So Pokemon avatars will have like little red arrows above them or like have little indicators above them to tell you like this is a really hard Pokemon, avoid it. But
Hmm.
just FYI, because
Interesting.
it's gonna be you're gonna get one shot. Like that's the thing. You know what I mean? But
Right.
you know there is that thing. But I think the most interesting part of the Wild Zone is they're actually adding a rating system to the game. So what's going to happen is there's actually going to be red beacons all over the Wild Zone. And
Mhm.
when you touch a red beacon, you will go into a party lobby where you can either solo these. When you solo them, you do it with 3 other NPCs with random Pokemon, or you can invite people from your from your Nintendo Switch friends list into your Wild Zone thing, and you will verse the Pokemon together. The
Mhm.
Pokemon are super random. From what we've seen from screenshots, it's been everything from just a giant Pidgey to a legendary Pokemon to Mewtwo. They're all rated 1 through 5, depending on how hard they are, obviously. The way that it works is that it's turn based still, but player 1 will attack said Pokemon will attack back, then player 2 will attack it, etc., etc. You guys will need to kill it, basically get it to 0 health in order to
Mhm.
capture it, and then you will use your own Pokeballs to catch it. Um, so keep that in mind as well.
Mhm.
So you
And
kill the
everything
Pokemon, you got to catch it yourself.
everybody gets their own copy of that Pokemon.
Yeah, so that's another
Yeah.
interesting thing. If one person in the party captures the Pokemon, everyone gets it.
Oh, okay.
So you won't have to like, oh man, Pixel got it, but I didn't. But it's like if Pixel gets like, yeah, let's go Pixel. Like everyone in the party gets the Pokemon. So I think that's really cool. That's another social feature that's added, and there'll be timers on those raids as well, which I think is very interesting. Kind of like in Pokemon Go, we've seen.
Mhm. This could be really interesting. Like, it'd be just like events that could happen, like a very, very
Yeah,
unique Pokemon or something like that, like a unique coloration or a unique move set.
yeah.
I think they could do really, really cool things with this.
Yeah, like if like I could even see them being like it's the 20th anniversary of like Pokemon Gold and Silver. Like all the raids in the wild area will be like, you know, Pokemon Gold and Silver themed Pokemon. You know what I mean? Or like
Mhm.
Pokemon Go's having this type of event, you know, you'll also get this Pokemon here. So it will be really interesting. I think I really like that feature. I really like that feature a lot.
Mhm.
Just because like previously it's like there were certain legendaries you know like I could even see like honestly like somewhere down the line, I don't think initially because they're going to want to try to make money, but I can even initially seeing like a thing where it's like okay, all the raids in here will be Pokemon from the opposite game you have, maybe, right? So it's like Shield will
Mm.
get Pokemon from Sword and people from
Mhm.
Sword will get Pokemon from Shield, including the legendaries maybe,
Yeah, yeah, totally.
which would
Like,
be
this
like
would be
really, really
interesting.
cool. So I actually really like. What do you think about that feature? I really like it. I think that feature is going to keep the longevity of the game for a while for me, even if for even
Mhm.
casual or hardcore players. But what do you think about it?
I think it's good because like it extends the life of the game. So like it allows Nintendo to just like add extra stuff to keep players interested.
Hmm.
So these raids, they're great for social interaction. They're great for just like, hanging out and doing things because
Yeah.
it just adds more things to do. It's kind of like an end game with an MMORPG.
Yeah.
Like when you finish leveling, you got to have stuff to do. You got to have
Hmm.
raids. You got to have like events. You got to have rare spawns and things like that, hunting for
Right.
shiny. Like these are things that keep the life of the game going and keep people interested. So having this way to like just add new stuff every now and then, I think it's going to be great. I think I'm just like imagining just how many possibilities there are, and
Yeah.
like it's huge.
Yeah, I think this is really cool. I mean, this is something definitely where it's like if there's an event on like a Saturday or something, like and like we can all jump on Discord with all the friends and stuff like that, and like okay, let's go, guys. You know what I mean? Like okay,
Hmm.
first spot here, first spot there. It's like only gonna last for 2 hours or something like that. That would be really cool. You know, it seems like it'd be
Yeah.
like a really cool feature. This feature opens up, by the way, right when the game starts. They said like 20 minutes into the game, you'll encounter the wild area. It's kind of like the whoa, awe-inspiring moment. This is crazy. I can actually basically everything you see in the wild area, you can go to eventually.
Hmm.
So I want to jump on with you or somebody else like when we got the game. Hopefully you're downloading the game. Are you downloading it or are you getting a physical cart?
Probably should download.
You
How
for
many gigs is it?
10. The
Yeah, I
internal
can.
system has 32.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, so because the game comes out Thursday at 9 p.m. PST. For everyone who doesn't know, for everyone else, you got to wait until the next morning. So I want to get on at like 9:30, like everyone's there, and we just do a raid really quick and just to see
Chill
how it is,
level
even
one
if it's a
raid.
crappy Pokemon, you know what I mean? Which it's going to be.
You can get a Rattata.
Yeah, Rattata or something stupid like that. But overall, I'm pretty excited for Pokemon Sword and Shield. We'll see how long it lasts. I'm really sad. I'm gonna try to save up from it. If you guys don't know, and this is not, well, it's kind of a sellouty plug or whatever. All the money that I use from like any type of game, like from like subs or bits or ads or anything like that, I utilize it for stuff for my stream. And one of the things I need is a capture card or whatever.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I do want to eventually like stream Pokemon like Sword and Shield on my stream, but for now it's gonna be like offline or whatever. So that's gonna kind of suck. Let me get set up really quick and do like the next part of it. By the way,
Okay.
hold on. Okay, so man, how am I actually gonna do this? This is gonna look so scuffed because your screen image is gonna be so small. You know what? Do we need to see? I guess do we have to see your face, Pixel?
Who needs to see my face? I mean, come
Do we
on
really?
now.
I don't want to like start like another like screen like another thing. Okay, hold on. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
All right,
That was perfect
perfect.
before.
Perfect.
All right, all right, all right. I'll
Okay.
move over like over here.
Yeah, that's just no
Wait, no,
other
this way.
side. Other side. There you go. There you
There we
go,
go.
buddy. Yeah,
There we
go
go.
that way. Go that way. Okay. So, this is like a image that's been floating around for I think a while or whatever. Probably for the last couple of weeks where people have just been the debating the best starters. I don't know what the credentials are either. So I don't know what you want to go with, Pixel, with either looks or with like meta stats or whatever, or cuteness rating or whatever.
Oh,
But
you know, I always got to go for like the cuteness
okay,
and the
we're
cool factor.
so our their friendships could actually be the last podcast we ever have because friendships could actually end here. But we're gonna go per generation and choose what we did. If you
Oh,
guys don't
okay.
remember, very early no content podcast episodes, very early, I would recommend going back to like episode 6. We did this with our with a guest host named Eli, where we battled and duked it out for a 2-hour podcast on the best fast food place, and it came down to McDonald's and In-N-Out, and McDonald's won. That's all I'm gonna say. McDonald's won. Okay.
How could you let that
No.
happen?
Oh no. I was McDonald's. Okay. Here's my rationale for it. Okay. This is my argument for McDonald's. All right. At the end of the day, McDonald's might not be the highest quality of food, right? We can all agree on that. In and Out is
Mhm.
definitely better. But when I'm looking at McDonald's or In-N-Out, I can go to McDonald's any time of the day. I can go for breakfast. You got to admit, McDonald's got breakfast game on point. It's one of the best breakfasts. Like out of the fast food places, McDonald's has the best breakfast in the world. Like I don't care what anyone says. Carl's Jr., Burger King, all these other like breakfast places are just scuffed versions of the McDonald's thing. All right. Second of all, the hash browns. Okay, the McDonald's hash brown is a Jesus sandal, where other hash browns are like this, like a stupid looking amoeba, and they're trying to do it. They're trying to do the hash brown sticks. No, we got like a perfect cylindrical Jesus sandal. You can get burgers. You can get chicken sandwiches. They have dope coffees at McDonald's, which are very cheap and very good for you. And they have salads. They have everything. But all In-N-Out has is burgers. And I can't have a burger for breakfast. Sometimes I want it for lunch. Sometimes I want it for dinner. But I can go to McDonald's, and variety is the spice of life. That was my argument. Yeah. And we argued for that for about 40 minutes, so we're not doing that again. Okay, but
you're kind of selling me though. You kind of selling me on
I'm just saying, like it, and then like let's be real here. In-N-Out, good burger. It's a solid burger here, right?
It's a delicious burger. But, yeah, don't get me wrong.
But then the thing is, you don't go and just get a burger, right? Like the joy of McDonald's is like I go to McDonald's, and if I'm feeling like a little fatty or whatever, it's like, all right, get me 2 McChickens, a small fry, a Filet-O-Fish, a cheeseburger, you know what I mean? And it's like all these combinations of food, right? When you go to In-N-Out, the burgers are like on point, right? But the fries suck. I'm sorry, In-N-Out fries suck. They are the worst fries. They are the worst fries of all time, in my opinion.
Okay, they're pretty bad.
They're like, pretty bad compared to every other
soggy mess. I will say right now, they're a soggy mess.
Okay, thank you.
You got to get them well done. And the thing is, like, you have to actually specifically tell them well done.
Okay, and that's the thing I don't like. Like, I never go to McDonald's and go like, yo, can I get like can I get the well done fries, or like, can I get like a cheeseburger, but like, crispy bun or something. Like, I don't have to make these orders for it, right? Like, I don't like how I can go to McDonald's and just order. It's easy. It's like, boom, 2 cheeseburgers, boom, a fry, boom, a Filet-O-Fish. But every time I go with my friends to In-N-Out, it's like the ordering system is like, can I get a cheeseburger, grilled onions, not regular, toasted bun, sauce on the side, animal style fries, a well done fry as well. Like, it's just like, no, it's not like the core. When we're looking at the core menu, McDonald's don't need a secret menu because it's just better. Okay, anyway, rant over. We're totally not talking about this. Back to Pokemon, because we literally argued for 40 minutes on the top like 3 or 4 places, and then we came back and did another episode, guys, to be fair, where we argued with the tier system, okay, with like S tier, A tier. That was way better. The first one was like a March Madness bracket, so there could only be really one winner. Oh, Pixel and I argued about this too with like video games too. We did Genesis versus Nintendo, and then we came back and did another episode where it was like a tier system, and I believe In-N-Out and McDonald's both got up there. It was like In-N-Out, McDonald's for me, and then like I think Chipotle was up there as well.
Chick-fil-A was up there, I think.
Chick-fil-A was definitely up there. I think Panda Express was like B tier. I think we got Panda at B tier, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, B tier or C tier or something like that. Okay, anyway. This is going to end friendships. Anyway, I don't want to make this go super long because the episode's already gone longer. But we're going to try to go through this as best as possible and as fast as possible as well. But, okay. We'll just take it away. Choose a Pokemon. We'll argue it or whatever of why we like it or whatever, and why the other person's an idiot, I guess. I don't know. So first up, Gen 1, the OG babies. This is the foundational ground for everyone's argument, and this kind of paves the way for what your thought process is for the rest of them. We have okay, and I want to say this, okay? Your arguments are going to be whatever you want them to be, okay? I don't care if you're judging on cuteness, on meta, on anything, okay? Just keep that in open mind, okay, Pixel? Okay. Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. What do you choose? What's your gut what do you choose right now?
Charmander.
Why? Why are we doing the Charmander, boy?
Just look at it. It's absolutely ridiculously cute. Like the big eyes.
Okay.
It's just got the round features. It's kind of like a little baby. It's actually just really, really cute. But the thing is, it also evolves into one of the most badass looking Pokemon in the entire game. Right. Charizard, like still, you look back at the OG Pokemon, and Charizard still is one of the most badass looking ones out of every single gen afterwards.
Okay. Okay.
Even looking at just the starters.
Okay. I think okay. I mean, fair. I think my answer is going to be pretty controversial for everyone because everyone hates this Pokemon. But I gotta go with my boy Bulbasaur. All right, my boy Bulbasaur, dude. This thing, it's just so cute. It's like a little frog. It has a little like leaf thing. When it evolves, the leaf gets like a little bit like bigger. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then when it like evolves into just this derpy, just like ugly like monster that's still trying to like have this little like flower like on its back. Okay, it's like the evolved form. It's ugly. It's ugly as hell. Okay,
You like
but
the ugly ones.
I do. I love it or whatever. But I gotta give it to my boy Bulbasaur. Also, Bulbasaur. When I chose that Pokemon at first, when I was a kid, I just thought I was like a god. I was like, I can get through the first 2 gyms easy, and the 3rd gym don't affect me. Like it was so good, right?
Min-maxing.
Bulbasaur's my boy. I feel like I could just pick up Bulbasaur and just like cuddle it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And just kind of like nuzzle up to it and just like chill with it. You know what I mean? Like Charmander gonna burn me. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with my boy Bulbasaur for the first one.
All
This
right.
is also I chose these pre, and I want to see if I actually am sticking to that really quick. So because I don't think I'm keeping the same like thought process as I did before, to be honest. like
Yeah, yeah.
at all. I think like my thought process is gonna change. Anyway,
All right.
okay. Next up,
Next gen.
Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile. What's your choice here? What's your choice?
Okay, so I'm gonna choose Cyndaquil. And the reason for this because of the Japanese version, actually. It's
Okay.
not because it's the most cute, because Chikorita is actually the most cute of these three. The thing is, Cyndaquil in the Japanese version, its name was actually translated to Firestorm. And I think
Okay,
that's a way cooler name.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
And this is from me like with a Japanese English dictionary with the Japanese version of the game, just like trying to figure out what like the name of this
And you're
Pokemon
just like, it's
was.
Firestorm.
So I was like, wait, it's Firestorm. This is an awesome
Okay,
name. I love it. And so I was like, yes, I'm picking this one right here.
Okay. I mean, to be honest with you, same. You know, same Cyndaquil, my boy. I think that just like I really like Typhlosion, like its final evolved form. You know what I mean? It's just like this giant like beast of a unit or whatever, and it just has like the fire like on its back or whatever. I think overall cuteness level or whatever, I always love like the eyes, right? Like when I look at like cuteness of like things or whatever, it's just like it's like the eyes or whatever, right? And I just love that it has no eyes. It's just like this little like little arch, like this little rainbow arch or whatever, and you can't really tell what it's thinking, but you know, I think it's
just like a profile pic.
Yeah, it's just like a profile pic, exactly. Exactly. Okay. So next up we have Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip.
Oh man.
So now we're getting into the era for me personally where I don't know where I thought about this, right? And like, it's not this gen; it's like the next coming gens for a couple. Where like my boys, like when we we're at school, we'd always complain about the starters. We'd be like, "Why do these things look like scuffed Digimon?" This is not quite there yet, but it's starting to get there for me. Okay, Gen 3 was the one gen I hated because it took out the clock thing. You couldn't trade any Pokemon from the last 2 games to your Game Boy Advance, and it had water everywhere. I hated it. That being said, I mean, what are your thoughts? What are you choosing here?
See, here's the thing. I actually didn't have a Game Boy Advance. I didn't own one.
Oh, wait, what?
So no, I never had a Game Boy Advance.
You missed out on a lot, dog.
Like, yeah, I see. Like during that period, I was like into like the PlayStation and stuff like that. So like I had consoles like attached to my TV. I didn't have any portables. Like I didn't have portables for years.
Okay.
So looking at this now, like I just have to choose Mudkip for the memes because that's all I remember.
Yeah, that's what's up, dog.
Mudkip for the memes.
Mudkip was my choice too. Mudkip was my choice too, purely because of the memes. No, you know what it was too is that okay? I will say this. Like Swampert looks kind of cool, right? It's like this like kind of like big toad or whatever. Like okay, so I don't like okay, so I think starting at this generation, they had this really dumb thing with fire type Pokemon where they became fire fighting. So they just took like a ton of damage from like
Firefighting.
rock Pokemon. I just hated fire fighting Pokemon. Like Firefighter, I think is what they were trying to go for or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. But like Torchic evolves into like Blaziken, which just looks like this weird rooster looking thing. Like, I don't know, it looks stupid. And then like Sceptile, which is like the evolved form of like Trika. I don't know. It just looked bad, man. It just looked bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think my boy Mudkip takes it. I mean, he's a meme. He's like a godly legend or whatever. We had the Mudkip run on like YouTube or whatever. Swampert looks pretty cool in my opinion out of all of them or whatever. He looks like the most like realistic like evolution too, in my opinion,
Mhm.
from like all of them. So I got to go with that as well.
Right, right.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
next up we have Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup. I actually hate this generation. I'm just gonna throw this out there right now. I hate this generation. I think every version of the evolved form sucked so bad.
Oh,
But
yeah, I'll agree with you there.
and even the starters were just kind of like I wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
Turtwig evolves into like I'm looking it up right now just to make sure. But like Turtwig evolves into Torterra, like this grass Pokemon that looks like a scuffed Bulbasaur. Chimchar turns into this Infernape thing, which looks stupid, and then Piplup just turns into Empoleon, which I remember just had like a big like trident thing, like face mask. It just looks stupid.
Yeah, I did
I
not
did
like
not
Piplups
like
Evolved
that. I
Form.
did not like that at
It
all.
was so bad. Like whenever I saw Piplups Evolved Form, all I could think about was Danny DeVito and Batman, like as the penguin.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah, yeah,
freaking
yeah, yeah,
penguin.
yeah, yeah,
Like it was so bad.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
no, I can't choose
Yeah,
Piplup.
true, dude, true.
Freaking
Okay,
Piplup is cute as hell, but oh
okay,
no.
but no, but that being said, I will choose Piplup because of cuteness, because of only cuteness. If I was looking at all the other two starters, like Turtwig just looks like he's not all there. He's kind of like dozing off or whatever. And I don't like Chimchar. I just don't like Chimchar. I think it's a stupid Pokemon. It has a stupid like. It looks like it has like Donald Trump's hair when it's like kind of floofed up or whatever, like weird Sunday looking hair or whatever. I gotta choose my boy Piplup. I don't like Piplup like at all, but out of all three, I have to choose Piplup. If I could choose none, I would choose none. What would you go with?
Hmm. So when I played this gen, I actually chose Chimchar. Like
Really?
I
Okay.
I didn't really like it. Like I didn't like this gen just because like I had such a difficult time picking a Pokemon. Like there was just no good choice. But if
Right.
I were doing it again, I would probably choose Turtwig just because of like the
Okay.
original form. Like I kind of like the derpiness. It kind of looks like I don't know, like something out of like Ed, Ed and Eddie or something like that with the little leaves coming out of the head. Like it just looks really really goofy, and I kind of like that.
Right. Okay. 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 So now we're getting into like, okay. So this is, in my opinion, one like the next two gens after this, I hated. But we have
That's a lot
Snivy,
of gens you hated.
Tapig, and Oshawott. This one actually is kind of hard for me. Well, kind of. Um, I think for well, you go first. You go first. I took last time, so go first. What do you say?
Yeah, this is a difficult one for me too because I actually don't remember this gen. Did I skip this gen
You
completely?
might have skipped this gen completely. This was black and white.
Black and white. Yeah, I didn't buy this gen. I
Okay.
didn't buy it.
Okay.
So
So
I looking at this, I'm like, maybe the grass one,
okay, Snivy.
Snivy. Yeah, he
Did
was
you look
kind
at
of like
its evolved
a
form? Look at their
yeah.
evolved
It was
forms really quick. Go just type in starter
Snivy.
Pokemon and go to Bulbapedia.
Wait, is this the Pokemon that like evolves into like a really like?
Stupid looking snake. Yes.
Oh no, I was thinking something else. Never
Okay.
mind. But yeah, this is yeah. I probably would have chose this one just because of like how like smug it looks.
Yeah. This generation, I hated all three of the final evolutions. Look up the final evolutions. They look stupid. Like go to Bulbapedia and like just go to starter Pokemon on Bulbapedia, basically.
All right.
And then like it should show you like there should be like a thing like you scroll down a little bit and then it just shows you like all the generations or whatever.
All right, let me look at this. Where's the pokes?
Snivy was like okay, so this was one of the worst evolution generations ever. Like Snivy just turns into like what I think is supposed to be like a king or queen depending on the gender, but also
Mhm.
genders in 2019. Cobra, and then Tapig just turned into this weird like luchador wrestler called Embor, which had like bigger flames coming out of its face or whatever. It literally looked like a luchador fighter. Of course, it was firefighting too, which is ridiculous. And then Oshawott turned into this thing called Samurott, which just looked like a four-legged creature with like a giant trident spear horn
Ugh.
thing. They look
Okay,
awful.
that looks really weird.
Which one?
It's the Samurai. It's got like chest muscles and
Yeah,
it's like
it's
it's
awful.
really
This
weird.
generation was awful
It looks like
for
a
evolutions.
seal with a really burly chest. It's like really strange.
Yeah, it's really, really bad or whatever. So I mean, for me, what do you choose? You're basing it just on looks. So I mean, what would you choose?
Yeah, I mean, looking at like just like the final form, I think Snivy is probably the way to go. Like T-Pig is like actually kind of cute,
Mm-hmm.
but like yeah, I have to look at all the forms, and Snivy just has the best looking of all the forms. Embor is kind of weird looking. He's kind of cool. It's got like a little bit of a historical like flair to it, like with like this Asian like almost sort of like sumo wrestler type thing going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, I gotta go with Snivy the Grass. Like the whole like snake looking like serpent is kind of cool.
Okay. Okay.
I like that idea.
Okay. Okay. All right. So next up is the generation I really didn't care about. Like the next two generations is when I started calling stuff scuffed Pokemon. To be honest. But oh wait, I should choose mine too. Sorry. Just based on not even their evolutions, to be honest, I would choose Oshawott. I think he's the cutest. I think it's really cute. He has like this little shell that he uses like as a blade to try to fight things and stuff like that. Personally, I would choose Oshawott. It wouldn't be for the evolutions or anything. I just think it looks cool. But anyway, next up we have Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. As the next people. These are from Pokemon X and Y. Their final forms are Chestnut, Delphox, and Greninja. I mean, I don't know, man. These all look so. Once again, in my opinion, so stupid of evolutions. Chestnut looks just like this bulked up like turtle, and then like Delphox looked like this. So then like this generation, they were like firefighting. It doesn't work. Let's go with fire psychic. Like I don't know. So then like we have this thing called Delphox, which is like this weird like humanoid-ish thing with like a wand, kind of like a fire wand on it.
Kind of got like a skirt.
Yeah, and then like the last one, like
tails.
Froakie turned into Greninja, which I thought looked really cool. It was like a ninja water Pokemon, but then it uses its tongue and like wraps itself around like a scarf. Like that pink stuff is like its scarf or something like that. Like that looks
tongue.
Like that's so weird. Like I don't know. Every evolution, I don't know. This generation, I'm going based off of just cuteness, and I'm gonna go Fennekin, the fire one. Just purely out of because. So here's the thing: is that we kind of got my dog based on this Pokemon or whatever. I have a Papillon Pomeranian, so it kind of has like the elongated fox nose like that, the bushy tail in the back, and the big ears. So yeah, that's why like we like getting a dog because based off of this. But I mean, besides that, I just think it's cute because it reminds me of my dog. To be honest.
Yeah. No, I can totally agree with you. Like the Fennekin is like really, really cute. If I'm just like looking at all the starters, like the original like evolutions, yeah, Fennekin is probably the cutest. Chespin's up there too, but I would have chosen Froakie just simply for Greninja. And
yeah, I think like Greninja looks like the coolest out of like to be honest, like Greninja looks the coolest out of all of them, like out of the final evolutions or whatever, for sure.
Yeah, I just never noticed that the tongue was its scarf. That's actually kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's just so weird. Like I don't understand like why that's a thing or whatever.
It's like I keep myself warm and moist during the winter or something.
I don't know, I guess.
I'm just looking at Chestnut too. It's like it doesn't even look like the original form anymore. Like the face is totally different.
You're gonna love Next Generation then.
Oh, everything is so different.
You're gonna love Next Generation. Okay. So Next Generation that we have, which was Sun and Moon, which is actually the only Pokemon game I actually haven't played. I totally skipped this generation. I didn't have a 3DS at the time, and the Pokemon games were kind of getting boring for me, so I just didn't get it. And I think the hardware on the 3DS was getting super old. But I mean, we have Rowlet, Litten, and I don't even know how to pronounce this last one.
Poplio?
Poplio, sure. And first of all, their evolutions look stupid as hell. Like Incineroar, Desdueye, and what is this last one?
Primarina?
Primarina? That Primarina looks so weird.
It's a very sexualized Pokemon.
Yeah, it's super weird. I don't like it. I don't like any of them to me. Like honestly, I don't like any of their evolutions, like for sure. So I'm not gonna go with that choice. I mean, I think just on adorableness, I'd probably go Rowlet,
Mhm.
the owl, because it looks cute.
Yeah, yeah. The bow tie for Rowlet, like that's just like awesome. I love that. I
Right.
when I played this, I went with Litten, and
Mm,
I was just going simply for the ending evolution because the Decidueye looks really goofy. I think it's kind of like this, like sort of like
mm,
um tuxedo mask looking thing,
okay.
and I'm like, no, this isn't really working for me.
Right.
So like, yeah, I had to go with Litten to
Okay.
Incineroar because like, yeah, that was the only choice.
Okay.
But
Okay. Fair.
Rowlet was
Fair.
cute though,
Yeah.
really cute though.
Okay, so we're at the final at the final home stretch, the last generation, the current generation that comes out Thursday. I'm gonna
Mhm.
link this in chat for you, Pixel, but everyone else, I will say that before we get to this point, we it has been leaked what the final evolutions of the Pokemon Sword and Shield starters are.
Mhm.
So if you guys don't want to know what we're talking about, you probably should skip this until probably the very end because it's the last thing we're talking about, or you should just end the podcast here. I'm gonna link an article in Twitch chat though, so you are warned. Click on it if you guys want to. If not, Pixel, click on it if you want to. You don't have to. I think I already
Alright.
sent you the article or whatever, and you don't care that
You
much.
probably
But if you
did.
scroll down, you guys can check out what the pretty much confirmed evolution, the all three stages of the evolutions are, or whatever. So maybe that will change, how you feel about the Pokemon themselves and stuff like that. Um, so they had some type of, I don't know, they had like a talk about this. They had like a conference or what about this, but we'll get into that in a sec. But anyway, Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble are the three Pokemon that we can choose from here. They said Scorbunny, is kind of like an immature like rascal and kind of like hastily does things or whatever, and kind of matures as he evolves or whatever.
Mhm.
That's why he kind of has like the bandage on his face or the bandages on him. It's kind of like he's like clumsy and klutzy and stuff like that. I have my favorite out of all three, but it's not
Mhm.
necessarily going to be the starter that I'm going to choose from actually. But
Hmm.
well, yeah, what are you starting your adventure on Pokemon Sword and Shield with, Pixel? I guess that's the question, right?
I mean, like, I just look at them, and I actually think this is the first generation in a long time where all of the starters actually look cute.
I know it's really hard actually, and I heard in the game like when you're choosing them or whatever, when you
Mhm.
hover over them, they get super excited that you're choosing them, and then when you hover
Oh,
off of them, they get kind of
no.
sad. I heard that's like a
No.
thing where like people reviewing the game were like, it was actually really hard. I
That's gonna
know.
destroy me. Okay.
This is why
So
we
I
need
know
to
there's
choose
a
opposite starters so that we can just trade and
right?
get at least two of the three at
So
first.
so from what I hear, there's like kind of like a story behind each starter. Like each
Mm-hmm.
one represents a kind of like a personality type, and you want to pick one that kind of fits with your own.
Right.
And I was reading through them, and like I just felt like, you know what? I'm gonna go with Sobble.
Nice.
Sobble is like probably the most adorable backstory, and
Yeah.
I
Poor
think
guy.
that one is gonna fit best with me.
Yeah. For sure.
Because like, yeah, like I'm not really crazy about the evolutionary forms. Like it actually does not look very
Dude,
good. I
it
don't know.
looked Sobble's evolutionary forms look awful. I told Pixel this off stream, but his final evolution form looks like one of those weird alien things from episode
Yeah.
2 of Attack of the Clones, where they
Yeah.
went to the clone army. It looks awful. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I look at the second stage, I'm like, this is like the awkward puberty adolescent stage until it finally hits like kind of cool. I've got like my confidence in college kind of phase.
They look. You know what? Like like in my opinion, Scorbunny and Sobble, when they evolve, they look too humanoid. I think that's my issue.
It does.
I think
It
that's
does
my
look a
issue.
little
Like
too,
Score Bunny
yeah.
just looks like he's like I'm an immature little kid, and then I evolve and I'm like I'm an edgy little like preteen teenager, and then I grow up and I'm like a superhero or like an
Right, yeah.
Ultraman or something like that. Like I don't know, and it looks too humanoid to me. It's weird.
Yeah. It's what's weird also is like it just loses the cuteness almost immediately. Like you go from these really cool, like cute, adorable designs, and then you go to like this weird, like I don't know, like I look at all of them and they're kind of disappointing.
Hmm.
Just like I don't know what happened. Like it
Yeah,
just
I don't
went from
know.
inspired design to just like goofy, like oh, I just gave up.
Hmm.
Like if I just look at like Scorbunny's second evolution, like grows like a pair of overalls and a bandana. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's weird and more
what?
humanoid.
Yeah.
And then the
And then
last
the
one, this
third
looks like
form.
he could be part of like an anime, like his own anime.
I know, right? He's
It's
going Super
weird.
Saiyan.
Yeah, it's super weird. So you'll choose
Right.
Sobble.
I'm
Okay,
choosing
so
Sobble.
I'm choosing Sobble too. I just think the thing looks so
Okay.
cute. It's so adorable. Here's the thing: I'm not going Sobble though. We kind of talked about at the beginning of the podcast that
Mhm.
I kind of go meta picks, or not meta picks, but like more of like, actually I think Sobble's gonna be like really hard. Or I think Sobble's gonna be really easy. Or I think they said the easiest one to play the game with is Score Bunny because of the first couple of gyms are like very easy for him to beat.
Mm.
But Groki is actually who I'm going to start with.
Oh,
And
okay.
the reason why is because it's not that it's meta, but because I polled all my friends in Discord and asked which Pokemon they want to get, and everyone chose either Score Bunny or Sobble. Almost none of them chose Groki,
Wow.
and so I'm going Groki so that I can leverage trades. Basically, it's basically just so that we can trade with each other. Because by the time trading opens up, we're gonna try to, and we don't know when trading's gonna open up, so that could be at the very end of the game. But once trading opens up and breeding becomes a thing, once I can find a Ditto, I'm
Mhm.
going to be breeding a ton of these to trade with friends. So I'm actually going Groki, which I'm actually okay with. I actually like its last evolutionary form. It looks the most like a Pokemon, in my opinion,
Mhm.
out of all the 3 evolutions. But if I had a choice just based on like initial like principle of like what I think is the cutest and which one I would love to have, it's Sobble.
Yeah, totally.
Totally. And I have
Sobble all the
Sobble as my
way.
background as my on my phone too.
Oh, nice.
So I think it's like the most cutest or whatever. It's blue. It's also doing the capital D colon face or whatever.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's already like, meme worthy in that opinion or whatever, and I think its
I love
background is
it.
like very very cute
Oh, yeah.
or
Like, it's
whatever.
it's adorable.
So I mean, in my opinion, that's like that's the, I don't know, hands down like the best one out of
Mhm.
all of them, out of like cuteness overload. So okay, we got through that. There was no fights or ill will towards each other. I don't think, at least, or whatever. So overall, I think we got through it or whatever.
We did it.
We did it. But I mean, yeah. So I think that is going to be it for the podcast as well. I think I'm pretty hyped. Pokemon Sword and Shield comes out Thursday, 9 p.m. PST. If you guys haven't downloaded it already, it's pre-downloaded. So once you purchase the game, you'll be able to pre-download it. Just keep that in mind. It's around 10 gigs as well. Highly recommend to just download it at this point. Like I said, if you don't, then you'll have to play it the next day at
Mhm.
I don't know, whenever GameStop opens or whatever. Plus, if you're socially awkward like me, you don't have to go and talk to people, which is always super nice too as well.
Oh, talking to people.
Yeah, talking to people. I just download it and start playing. So 9 p.m. PST Thursday. I'm actually not. I don't know what my streaming schedule is going to be like now because I'm not going to be able to stream it. Like I said, guys, I don't have a capture card. One of the things is all the donations from this podcast, or partially from this podcast, from running ads on the channel, subs and bits, is to get more stuff. So that I think the next purchase is going to be a capture card, so I can stream it for you guys. But as of right now, I won't be streaming it. It might be nice to play a game off stream for once, though. So that might be a good benefit, like as well. Oh, let me get this image off of the screen too for Pixel, so we can also see like everything about it. I will say as well, if anyone's listening to this podcast and is a mutual friend of mine, or I know you from some way, DM me or at me on Twitter so we can trade friend codes, because we're gonna try to get a raid together almost immediately after the game drops. So I'll see if we can garner a bunch of people. But I'm super hyped for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Pixel, last thoughts, Pokemon Sword and Shield, the podcast. Anything else you want to say? You have the platform.
Yeah, I haven't actually been excited about a Pokemon game in a while, so this is gonna be really cool just because it's like the first Pokemon game on a console. So like I'm actually looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think I am too. I think also, and a thing that I'm pretty interested with it as well is like, I don't think I've ever been around. I think for whatever reason, this Pokemon game is probably going to sell incredibly well, and it seems like everyone I know is playing it. I feel like the last couple of
Mhm.
Pokemon games, like only diehard friends of mine played it, or like people in the Pokemon community have play it, right? And for
Yeah.
some reason, I've seen like a lot of people, a lot of content creators as well, that usually don't stream Pokemon or play Pokemon at all, be super hyped to play this. And I think that's going to be interesting as well, as like watching, like I hope like people just squad stream together so I can watch multiple streams. But a lot of my favorite streamers are going to be streaming this. Um,
Oh man, that'd be
I,
great.
I know Foosley, starting at I think 9 p.m. on Thursday, is doing a 48-hour stream with her fiance and another guy, and they're just
Wow.
going to rotate through the game. and beat it as well. Also, side note, guys, my goal is by next week's episode, I will have beaten Pokemon Sword and Shield. Because my goal is to rush through the game as fast as possible and beat the whole game as fast as possible and quick as possible. That being said, I do have to share the console with my daughter, which kind of sucks, and she's gonna be home this weekend. I'm just kidding, but she will be home this weekend, so I got to share the console with her. I have a wedding to go to on Saturday as well. That's gonna literally take up the whole day, so I don't know how I'm gonna beat it. I probably won't, but my goal is by Monday night, I will have beaten. I might be just like barely trudging in. Just beat the Elite Four when we start recording or something like that. But my goal is Monday morning. I will hopefully have gotten very close to or have beaten Pokemon Sword and Shield. And then
you're not gonna sleep.
And then I will then go to the store and buy a copy of Sword and play it as well, and have to beat that.
So, wow! All right,
and get both copies eventually. Yeah. So.
Cool.
It'll be interesting. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for hanging out, as always. Pixel, any final words?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it for me as well. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Really appreciate it. Until next time, guys, we'll catch you later. Have a great rest of your week. Get hyped for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Have fun, guys. Peace.
Good night, guys.
All right, easy. All right.
Man.
It was a long episode.
That was a long one, yeah.
That was a long episode. I should probably keep it on follower only mode for now. Sorry guys, we had some issue. I don't want to get too into it. If people are really concerned or whatever, you guys can DM me. Any mutuals or friends on Twitter can DM me about it or whatever. But we had there was a lot of stuff that happened this past weekend, and I've been getting harassed and stuff online. This is off podcast, by the way, but I've been getting harassed a lot online because of some affiliations and stuff like that. So we just threw it into follower only mode for tonight. If you guys want to, you guys can follow me. Feel free to as well. You don't have to, but normally the stream isn't on follower only mode. Just FYI. So just keep it out there. But if any mutuals are wondering or curious, feel free to DM me. I don't mind talking about it. But yeah. Oh man, that was long. That was a long episode. Holy crap! We
talked about Pokemon the entire time.
Almost, yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're gonna be talking about it next week as well.
True.
I mean, I don't know what else is gonna happen or whatever. I mean, we didn't even talk about it, but Legends of Runeterra beta comes out this week too, on the 14th, until Saturday. I know, right? Lol. What are you gonna do the rest of the night? You got any plans?
No, I'm probably just gonna figure out how to buy this or pre-order Pokemon Sword.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna end stream, and then maybe I'll jump back in the call with you and we'll talk for a bit.
Okay, cool.
About other stuff.
All right, we'll do.
Anyway, man, thanks for coming on. Everyone, say bye to Pixel if you want. You don't have to. Shout out to Pixel if you want. Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch and all that good stuff if you want to check them out as well.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Wait, hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on.
What's up?
I got hold on. Where's my screen? Hold on. Do not. This is gonna be scuffed, but okay. Now you can end. We can leak.
Okay.
No, I didn't want to leak our DMs. All right, we're good. We didn't want to leak DMs or whatever, guys. That was the main. That was the main issue of everything. I'm just gonna switch to the end clip. Sorry, I'm messaging people. All right, guys, we're going to head off for the rest of the night or whatever. Thanks so much for hanging out with me as well. I really, really appreciate it. Good podcast. Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to literally take up my whole life, I think, in the next couple of days, which, to be honest, I'm kind of okay with or whatever. But thanks for hanging out as always, guys, and lurking and subbing and resubbing and hosting. I really, really, really appreciate it as always. If you guys, it's your first time here, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, if you guys want to go check out that stuff as well, that would be great. I am going to run a couple of minutes of ads, so if you guys do want to stick around and hang out and stuff like that and just chill and watch those ads, I would really, really appreciate it. If not, though, I totally understand that you don't want to. But anyway, have a great rest of your night, and I will catch you hopefully tomorrow. Peace, guys. Later.